Let's talk about the importance of topic testing and the value of knowing exactly what your customers are thinking about. What is it that's on their mind? What is most important to them? I'm going to give you some quick ideas on how to use this editorial calendar dashboard. Now you're going to see this is empty right now for the ideas. How do you get ideas about content? First off, I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips. And we want to reach into the mind of our prospect and understand exactly what they're thinking about. And we do that not by what they respond to in surveys, but we do it by their behavior. Very important concept here. It is the behavior of your visitor that compels them to actually become customers. So what do? First off, we start with the key concepts of what traffic already gets to your website. So we need to map between where you are and where you want to be. You want to have visitors that buy, that visit, that come to your site, get involved with what you have to offer. Now, I'm going to give you here an example for my own websites. I don't have a lot of traffic at my websites. As a consultant, I really shouldn't have a lot of traffic at my websites, but many of my customers in the past have been catalog sites, content marketers, folks running big magazines and publications. This is from Ad Briefing's Copywriting Tips, where the tutorial is that has the tutorial I0720A about website management insights. Now, we're going to cover some of the concepts of topic testing in this video today, but ultimately you want to start with the keywords that already get people to your site. So you're going to use your Google Search Console and you're going to use your Bing Webmaster. And let me get this on the right website. And so your site needs to be technically strong in how it's set up so that you have the right tags and things in place so that this can be accurate. Now, I actually at being a webmaster, we actually ran their analytics or their auditing tool, and it actually gave me a bunch of pages that were having problems. You know, you want to fix all these errors. You want to fix all these warnings. Now, this isn't about your website being SEO friendly. I don't really care about SEO. What I care about is that the site is performing, so we can use the performance tracking that we have here. And by the way, if you're our client and we're managing your WordPress site, we do all this stuff for you. But ultimately, you want to know what brings people to your site already, and then that's going to give you an idea of topics. You also want to know what topics are of general interest to the larger marketplace so that we can bridge the general interest topics with a specific audience to specific concepts that are already credible with search engines. We are doing a little bit of search engine optimization in the sense that we want the pages to be technically correct for what the search engine is looking for, but we want the pages to be very readable for the audience that we want. When I set up a site, even though this is called Prosperity Homestead, it's for high income and affluent families who have an environmental angle. So helping property owners get more from their homestead, small farm, or estate. I actually chose pictures that it's not a fancy modern house. It's actually a family sitting in front of looks like a farmhouse door. And then I put my label over top of that. And then, of course, I have a different size label here for the podcast itself. Well, this article was created, see wheat. This article in concept was created based on my audience. What are their interests? What are they already searching for? What do they want to know? What is the question that they're answering? And so, again, we're going to use our keywords of where we showed up. You can also use your Google Analytics or your analytics tool to see what keywords are actually converting. For example, I might want to write a program about how to break into copywriting. Well, how do I tie that to an existing topic? Well, how to break into copywriting because how to break into copywriting in the environmental services world because David Attenborough is going to invest $500 billion a year to protect nature. Wouldn't you like to work for the Nature Conservatory or these other nonprofit groups writing sales letters so they can raise money to match these funds and start applying it in place? What about environmental services? What about other types of businesses? See, I would take the concept that is already, search engines already think my website applies to this. I've shown up 5 times in the search results when they type how to break into copywriting. But I want a certain type of customer, so I tie to a topical event, which is David Attenborough setting aside money to invest in environmental activities. So I'm bridging there. You can also look at Drudge Report, for example, where they're talking about the debates. If you want a current topic, what are your customers really thinking about right now? So you can use Drudge Report. There are a number of tools that give you headlines, and you can also look at the actual, we'll actually walk through an exercise. You can look at news feeds narrowed down to topics. Here's a good site. It's called All Sides, and it basically talks about media bias. In any one of these categories, if your website's about one of these categories, maybe you have a libertarian site and you're going to talk about the role of government. You can click here and you can see what folks are saying from many different perspectives about the role of government. And you can pick a topic out of here, bridge that. So here's what we're doing. We're bridging what our search engines already know that we're good for, the survey responses from people in our target audience or our avatar, and the current top of mind topic. So there's 3 columns. You can bullet point a few notes within each of the 3 columns, and that's going to give you the context for an article. So we're not just blasting articles out there. We're not just blasting topics out there. We're testing the concept of the topic while zeroing in the focus of our site on a specific avatar and a specific set of topics. Another thing I like to do is go to LinkedIn, and they have this little bar over here on the side, today's news. Okay? What's today's news? What's popular in those channels? There's similar sites for other social media sites. Here's an example of narrowing down a topic. Let's say I want to talk about how to break into copywriting. And I click, and it gives me who ranks in the search. Well, Glamour UK ranks in the search. Well, if I was writing how to get into writing for the fashion industry, I'd have something to reference right here. But I'm not in the fashion industry, so maybe I want to narrow this down. I want to say let's say our niche is environmental services company. How to break into environmental copywriting. Okay, so I narrow the scope down with the keywords. I see what topics are there. I don't see any topics there. Now, do I know people are searching on how to get into environmental copywriting? I don't know that they're searching for that. But what I do know about my target audience is that they are writing copy for environmental services. So this could be how to get into copywriting in environmental services. Okay, now why am I doing this so specific? Well, first off, I'm on the news tab here, so there is no news about this. If I click over here to all, I can see that there are some folks that are touching that topic, but not really. What I'm looking for is people, places, and things. I'm looking for the people who are already talking about the topic that's specific to my narrow niche, because I might interact with them, interview them, I might work with them, I might invite them to come to the site and provide feedback. A lot of things you can do. I'm looking for places where there's events going on that are related to the topic, the narrow niche topic. And I'm also looking for things of interest to my prospects. I could immediately write it says like big ideas for small business right here. If I go in here, it says it's retail opportunity and environmental services. I could write a short article that says unusual new ideas for copywriting in the environmental services area. Free report shares details. Now, I could write a quick free report, but I can also download this free ebook and offer the ebook as a gift. So I can, now this one I may not be able to get a hold of, but it tells me that somebody wrote about this concept. And so I'm just looking for the idea to write a short blog post that I can then test. I could add it as a part of a series. I could add it as part of a new blog post. But I'm zeroing in on specific news sources and channels that are going to provide related information. See, we don't need the same stuff on the internet more. We need new and unique ideas that compel your visitor to click on the link and become a lead or an activity on your site, because we can retarget. Once they get on your site, you can retarget them and then get them to become a lead. Now, you can also do more than that. You can send the letters to them by mail. So if I see how to break into copywriting, that's what the websites know my site for. And if I see that here too, I don't see that here on the Google, but I'm known for this on Bing. I set up a special report, the 5 things that every engineer needs to know about breaking into copywriting. You're interested in writing. You're interested in technical topics. You want to be a subject matter expert in this particular topic and create copy to help sell products. I can write a brief little lead gen page. I can write a brief little report. I could then pay-per-click market this phrase. I'm going to get a better rate for it because I'm already known for that in this platform. And this is 5 impressions in 3 months. So it's really not that big of a deal, but I could basically do the pay-per-click, then audience target, and then have a test. I would have a legitimate test there. I write 2 articles on the front end, 1 report on the back end. Each article works as kind of a name squeeze. And I might do a straight name squeeze, and I might do a blog post. I split the traffic between the 2, and now I know, are these folks interested in breaking into copywriting? Now, all these resources about breaking into copywriting help me talk about the opportunity. Why would you want to break into copywriting? Well, as a copywriter, you can work from anywhere in the world. You can travel while you write. You can start, and I'm looking down here, you can start without experience. If you want to drum up an extra $10,000, follow the mouse cursor, folks. You could do this easily in copywriting. Let me share with you the 15 things you need to know. Now, of course, you're going to cover your specific topic or the topic of your clients. But the key of what we're doing here is we're looking at the behavior of search traffic and visitors. Now, if you're using your Google Analytics, you would then focus on those phrases that are converting to leads because we have a better measure. But my assumption is that you don't have a real good measure of your lead conversion or what topics or landing pages are leading to a lead conversion. And so this is a great way to get started setting up that conversion tracking, finding media and sources where you can then start driving down. Now, here, let me show you something interesting. How to break into copywriting. I'm going to click this. Now, a lot of people are using WordPress sites today. And of course, this site is targeting English majors. I can see that really easy by Dear English Major. If you're an English major and you're breaking into copywriting and you want more, that kind of thing. Let me show you something here. I just typed feed on the end of there, and it actually does not have a feed. Let me check one more time. We're going to look at the source code. Now, again, you don't have to be technically minded. You just have to know where to look. And we're going to look for the RSS feed. Okay. And it has an RSS feed right here. And so we're going to copy this link, and I'm going to go over to Feedly. Every one of my websites, as I find channels that already talk about the topic that I want to cover or that my customers want, I'm assuming that if someone looked for how to break into copywriting and my site showed up in the list and I was the 5th average ranking position, that there were 5 other websites that are more targeted than me. See, I don't have to be number 1. I can go over here to the number 1. And you know what? I got ads blocked, so you can't really tell, but I could actually buy or do a co-op with them. But I want to monitor their site because in order to get that co-op, here's what I'm going to do to get that co-op is I'm going to start sending some traffic their way. So I'm going to put them in here. Dear English Major blog, I want to follow it. Okay. And I'm going to tag it in my group here, ad briefings. So now when I come over to ad briefings, and we're going to walk through these steps one more time so that you've got it. Now when I come into ad briefings, I get a blended list of the latest news. So let's say I don't have time to write a special report, but I want something else to put in the email series. Well, guess what? Did you know there are 6 reasons to start blogging right now? And if you're a copywriter and you're not already blogging, this copywriting, actually this is AWAI, has a great article about why you should be blogging now. Click the link here. Here are the 3 reasons why most of my clients blog. Or here's the 3 things I do with blogging. Boom, I've got an article, I've got a click, I can monitor and track behavior. So let's recap. First off, we're going to start adding some resources here to this column 1. that talks about the idea stage. What we're doing right now is we're just using our topic testing to start ironing out some ideas about content that our subscribers or our visitors want to interact with. That content is going to be built upon a technically sound site that has no broken links. It has nothing to irritate or push away a visitor. The site is not slow. I click here, I see ad briefings is slow. Okay, see how I moused over here? Now, by the way, my team can monitor this kind of stuff, but it loads in 7 seconds. That's good enough for me. I'm going to look at my Google Webmaster Tools or any Webmaster tools you're using. There's a large list of SEO related tools, but we're not using them for SEO purposes. We're using them as an analytic response to the behaviors of visitors. I know that a lot of visitors visit this have seen this website. 90 impressions for newsletter copywriting tips, 46 impressions for Amazon copywriting. I also know that the specific topic we're using in the example, how to break into the copywriting business. See, how to break into the copywriting. Well, how to break into the environmental copywriting business, how to break into the copywriting business. It shows up 5 times, but it was ranked number 5. This might be a topic worth testing. I'm going to write a sales letter first, which could be the special report, a landing page, and then I'm going to go over here and write blog content or other landing pages that are tied to top headlines. And we use the environmental example, but maybe you have a different niche. So you want to go find something that's related to your niche, something to interest of your prospects. You can use the Drudge Report. You can use a lot of different sites. And I like to use, again, this all sides because I can get a variety of angles. So here in the role of government, I can look at this particular article here and I can see what the angles are. Because you may have a conservative audience, you may have a libertarian audience, you may have an audience who is very liberal out on the left, and you want to be able to, again, provide topics relevant to their interests so that you can kind of get into the message that's already in their head. Again, LinkedIn provides those things because you are going to promote on social media. You can drill down to specific top content, and then we, again, capture that top content so that we can then in one place, we can see what's new. Today, what kinds of things are of interest? And it's going to be, again, your topic area. So when I talk about sustainable wealth, I go over here to sustainable wealth. What new topics are sustainable wealth issues? Okay, here you go. Here's one. If you're making money on the internet, did you know the president has an internet kill switch? What would happen if the government shut down the internet and completely destroyed your industry? Now, that same topic has been used when people do a lot of fax broadcasts, when people do a lot of outbound telemarketing. So I now have a relevant topic. I can say, hey, look, this organization's talking about the topic, and they're saying that there's censorship on the internet, and there's all this stuff, and the government's going to come in and do this. Are you prepared? And then I can go straight into the reasons why they want to raise their hand and move forward. I also want to be mindful of the topic's context and send traffic to other related websites. Now, this could be part of your outbound linking strategy, but you want to send it out in a way that you can track that link. Okay, you want to know somebody clicked through that link and went away from your website, because if you start looking at your analytics and you've got a lot of exits, a lot of bounces, and I don't know if this is going to tell me the bounces, but if you have a lot of bounces, you can start seeing where they're going. And at least if they're going someplace relevant, you can know that you've got good traffic. You can know that you've got good people. Even though they're not joining your list, they're going somewhere in a similar topic category rather than just bouncing and disappearing. So if you have any questions about this or anything else we covered, this is specifically about how to use the topic testing concepts. Now, you can set up mathematical models. You can take these impression numbers out and track them in a spreadsheet and then pivot it out to see which areas you might want to focus. But again, if you're just getting ideas, here's copywriting for affiliate marketing. You know, I think I'd find a copywriting crash course, probably set up an affiliate link to a copywriting crash course, lead generate on the concept of copywriting crash course, and then in the back end, offer them someone else's. I don't have a crash course. For this one, newsletter copywriting tips, I would write, see, my website has copywriting tips newsletter. I would write a piece of content about writing copy for newsletters. Because I'm already showing up high in the impressions, the algorithm already thinks that my website has relevance. So now I have to bridge the relevance to my specific target audience. And then guess what? I could do kind of the same presentation. If you're going to write copy for your newsletter, how do you get relevant and interesting news items to keep your visitors interested in your newsletter, or to keep your subscribers interested in your newsletter? And then I could walk through some of the same steps. So we are using patterns. We're looking at broad ranking of topics, and then we're narrowing down those broad rankings of topics to find specific news. And then, see, I put side job copywriting. There's a low end to what I've got going on with Ad Briefings Copywriting Tips, and it's the person looking for side jobs. I would now know that Business Insider has an article about copywriting and the potential for $640,000 a year. Adweek has an article. And guess what this tells me? Yahoo News. It tells me which ad channels to go put my pay-per-click, or which ad channels that I want to target when I'm looking at some kind of targeted ad or some kind of lift. Now, here's even CNN. CNN talks about copywriting career as being the big win for those stuck at home during COVID. That's a topic. Hey, next week, folks, we're going to cover what CNN says about the career of copywriting and how valuable it can be to you in this COVID world. Can you see how that works? I'm taking a simple topic, I'm drilling down in news channels, and then I'm bridging the topic into the audience. And we can work through this, by the way. If you've got your consultation coupon and you want to sit down and work through these topics on your own site, I can show you how you can use this information. But we're getting the relevance of the search engine in here. We want the relevance of the search engine so that we know they already see us as being near that category. We're just building content around where they see us. Now, when we start to get clicks, that's a whole different measure, because you're going to start getting clicks. You want to go from clicks to conversion. So let's say we start to show up, we're getting a 1% or a 0.5% click through from the search engine. Now we know those are topics we want to be doing additional ads for. But if we're going to spend money on ads, or even postcard campaigns, or joint ventures with these people you've been collecting who talk about the same topics, we want to know that conversion lands them on the website. Then we get over to the Google Analytics and we look at if they land on the website, what happens? Do they just bounce away? Do they stay long on the article? Are they staying longer on some topics versus other topics? We're going to dive in deep on this, but not in the website management. The key for website management insights is that you don't have broken links anywhere. That when someone lands on a website, they are, and I'm just showing you the tools that I'm using. There's a lot of great tools that you can use, but when they land on the website, they are able to quickly and easily get to the content they want. So I know, for example, a lot of my affiliate links busted out on this site. And this is Ad Briefings. And again, I drilled down to Ad Briefings, and I'm seeing that these sites have errors, and these are my redirect codes that are broken. So this is old word power. I want to clean that up. Sales Gimmicks is a website that's I have no longer out there, but I repurposed the content into Ad Briefings. So again, you want this site from a web management standpoint. You want it to be technically accurate. You want it to have no broken links. When it comes to the different characteristics that search engines will look for, and we're using search engines as a technical measure to make sure the site is clean. We want to go and correct the errors first, and then we're going to correct the warnings, and then we're going to correct all of this. Look, I've got 205 pages that don't have an H1 tag. H1 tags often should contain keywords, and this tells me that something's wrong with my template if all these tags do not have some kind of headline. And actually, one of the things that I've done for some of my clients is for every one of these tag pages, and this site's getting remodeled, so I'm not really worried about it here. But for every one of these tag pages, I would go in and make a short description. So I would have a short description up here, and I would have a H1 in the template so that we can pick that keyword up if we're using tags as keywords for improving the keyword density. Again, I don't care as much about the search SEO function. As a copywriter, I care about connecting with an audience. But again, if the audience lands on a website and it's busted all up and they can't get to stuff because they got timeouts, because they've got errors, because they've got metadata missing, that doesn't hurt a visitor as much as not giving them the context. One of the challenges why you might show up in a search engine result but not get any clicks is because there's no metadata relevant to the visitor. So again, I've covered a lot here. If you have questions, visit us at www.adbriefings.co.uk. You're going to go click the contact button, and then you can reach us there. If you're in the tutorial, you can, of course, there should be a survey in the tutorial somewhere where you can ask additional questions specific to the tutorial. And ultimately, thanks for listening. I'm Justin Hitt with Ad Briefings Copywriting Tips, and we've been narrowing down the focus of how do you get ideas for new content, not just to create content, but to create visitors who convert to leads and potentially leads that convert to sales. Thanks for watching.